S&P and Dow at an all-time high, yet today in Europe we've had car registration numbers sharply lower, political instability in Portugal and Spain building up, and the data is not that great. So how high can Europe go here?
Well, a lot of it's actually down to the fact that Bernanke kind of changed. We didn't really change tact last week. He kind of gave the idea that tapering off isn't going to be aggressive. It's tapering, it's not tightening. And still the expectations are maybe that'll happen later on at the end of the year. And now what people are doing is they're reading negative economic data or slightly weaker than expected data as a positive. And that's what we've seen yesterday with retail sales out of the US weren't great, for instance, lower than expected. And that sort of helped US markets. And we should expect to see a follow through here in Europe this morning.
But the European markets, the FTSE Euro First and the FTSE here in the UK, we're still a little, we're still some way off those end of May highs, whereas the US has propelled past them.
Yeah, you're right. And to be honest, there's a bit of a different situation here in Europe as there are in the US. US, of course, we're going through the big earnings season now as well. You've got expectations relatively low. Normally you have US directors, company directors lowering expectations in the market. Also brokers doing the same thing in the run-up to an earnings season. We've had a decent earnings start as well. Don't forget, Citigroup was pretty good. We've got some big earnings out today. Goldman Sachs expected to see a decent gain on their EPS from a year earlier. So keep an eye on that one. That will be an important one. But then hopefully you should see a bit more of a follow-through here in Europe.
And here in Europe today, this morning, we've got the ZEW index of German investor confidence and inflation from the Eurozone and UK. How will that fit into the policy mix, do you think?
Well, it's more of a confidence side of it. So there's two things. Obviously, inflation, which UK CPI is expected to stay same, 2.7% on an annual basis. You do have US inflation later on this, today as well, of course. And the ZEW, again, not really expecting too much of a volatility in that 8.6, expected to be sort of in line, maybe a little bit higher than month on month. But, you do need to be aware of any negative surprises out of both sets of data.